a form of patriarchal belief of how women should be. And I think many of these killings, especially the partner ones, which is, I would say, it's an extreme form of gender-based violence or violence against women. Because the challenge that you're sitting with is that intimate partner femicide is high. Yes, violence is highly prevalent
Seehaam,
in South Africa.
If I can just come in there and go back to the Karabo Mokoena case, we saw a trial, a conviction and a sentencing in about a year, which is fairly rapid. But this is not the norm, is it? It's not the case for all such incidents of femicide or gender-based violence. What are some of the barriers or delays to prosecutions of this nature? And is it perhaps the withdrawal of cases that also need some closer examination?
Well, victims of violence or gender-based violence are reluctant to take action against their abusers. I mean, one of the biggest challenges is not just getting, the matter is before the court. It's actually reporting, and there's still a high level of underreporting, and this has got to do with women not having, firstly, confidence in the criminal justice system, because it's a system that in itself can be violent towards women. So when you speak about reporting and also intimate partner violence, the challenge is that for families to move forward, it remains within that domain. And to be able to take it further, and I'm talking about domestic violence, it requires women to firstly report, and that is a major challenge. Then when they get to the court or they get to the police, it's the attitude of the police towards these women. To be able to either say resolve it at home or and that can in itself have fatal consequences, and we can see that in relation to the Karabo matter.
Seehaam, you've actually preempted my next question, because our police minister is due to deliver an address at this memorial lecture for Karabo Mokoena and other femicide victims in Soweto this afternoon. And like you're saying, often survivors have to do battle again with police, doctors, psychologists, the courts to get the justice she deserves. And it's almost as though there's a secondary victimization that they have to go through. Right here on the SABC News Desk, we covered a story on the Midrand police station where a female assault victim tried to open a case, but she was further bullied by policemen. How do we address these levels of increasing insensitivity that just it's just not going away? We see SAPS members, they regurgitate or repeat this sort of behavior over and over again.
Well, I mean, our courts have already dealt with some of these matters. There was a case which the Women's Legal Centre also brought, which was the Naidu versus the Minister of Police, and where a civil action was brought by the survivor of domestic abuse for the secondary victimization as well as the assault, and also the resultant trauma that was suffered because of SAPS's attitudes towards herself and also the way they have treated the abuser. So during the time that she had sought assistance from SAP. So the matter, I mean, the court is very clear that you can actually, sue the South African Police Service for secondary forms of secondary victimization. And there's many other cases. But the challenge that we're sitting with is that we don't want women, that is an extreme form. How many women are actually going to make the decision to take the state or to take on SAPS? The fact is that we need gender-sensitized police officers. We need to be able to let them understand what are the challenges women face when they come to a police station to actually lay a complaint. But I'm also going to take a step back. Where we have people in communities thinking when there is domestic violence or there's any form of violence against women, communities or people within those communities, they take a step back to say that that is within the private domain. It is not within the private domain. The challenge is that we need to be able to deal with these type of perceptions. We need to be able to change it, because more times than not, after the woman has been killed, many family members or friends, etc., will come out and say, but we knew. But it's too late. So we need to educate our communities also to be able to assist these women or to take matters forward so that these women can be able to be assisted.
Seehaam, very quickly before I let you go, we are running out of time because you work with these issues on the ground every day. In your experience, how challenging is this lack of coordination between the three main response units, the SAPS, social services and pathology services? How much of cohesion are we seeing here so that we get more successful prosecutions?
Well, we can see with the high levels of withdrawals that clearly there is a coordination. And I think that the legislation in itself speaks about the interdepartmental coordination that needs to happen. But we need leadership in relation to those coordination. And budgets need to be allocated towards the coordination because it's critical. The NPA will not be able to do matters if you don't have a victim that are able to move through the criminal justice system. And for them to be able to make these women safer, we need the social services support to be able to assist these women. And we could see over the past couple of years that there was a decrease in the amount of services towards these matters, even though there has been a legislation around the sexual offences courts, etc., but we have not yet seen the promulgation of those sexual offences courts. So the
director of
for the past.
Seehaam, I'm afraid we are out of time. We are going to have to leave it there. We will definitely chat some more on this very pertinent issue. That's Seehaam Samaai. She's the director of the Women's Legal Centre, and that's based in the mother city of Cape Town.